Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, like the content, please hit that thumbs up. So today we are back in the garage and we are working another issue. So let's get into it. Alright, so like I said, we're in the garage. We are doing yet another issue with this car. We've been plagued this year for whatever reason. I guess because I've been bragging about how much it's nice not to have to work on this thing. So this year it's paying me back. Mistake noted. Will not make that again. So for the first four races, we've been battling a water leak. So we tore into that. Last video you saw what we had to go through. I think hopefully the last two races we didn't have a water leak. So I think I've got that behind us. And lo and behold, the last day, the last run, last video you saw, we pulled up to the starting line and we didn't have a trans brake. So we've done some troubleshooting a little bit at the track. The trans brake would not hold. I did hear it engaging, and I did see it on the voltmeter when the car was running, a spike basically. So that told me it was working, activating when it was running, but it still wouldn't hold the car. Long story short, we drive it home, say 3 hours later, I get it, pull it in the shop here, and I'm like, you know what, let's just check this. I'll put it down in first, put trans brake on, holds just fine. No idea what's going on and why all of a sudden now it's decided to give us fits. So today what we are going to do is 3 things. So I've done some research. It's a possibility of 4 things. 3 of those which I can check here in the shop. The 4th one, not so much, and it's not going to be cheap because that tells me we're going to have to rebuild a transmission. Hopefully we won't have to go there at this point yet. Like I said, I have 4 races left for the year. So I'm trying to get through the motor, trying to keep it together to get to the end of the season, so I can figure out what's my internal blockage and a water passage somewhere. That's what I've got it narrowed down to. So we're going to take care of that at the end of the season. Now I've got a transmission issue that I'm trying to milk out to the end of the season so I can pull the transmission out, most likely get it rebuilt, just because we've been running it. This is our 3rd year running it. No idea how old it is. So we're probably just going to have it rebuilt just because we don't know anything about the transmission, how old it is, anything. So that will solve that problem. And then pretty much the car is going to be essentially new front to back. Enough of that. So what we're going to do first, we're going to climb under the car. We're going to check the wiring, make sure I got a good ground, make sure I've got 12 volts going to the solenoid. If I have that, next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the solenoid out. When I pull the solenoid out, yes, we're going to lose a quart or 2 of transmission fluid. Got that. So we're going to check to make sure the solenoid is engaging fully. From everything I can see, it's 200 thou. We're going to measure that. Then we're going to pull the spring and the plunger out. Hopefully I can get those out pretty easy. We're going to pull those out and we're going to check those, make sure the spring is good and the plunger doesn't have any wear on it. If the plunger has wear, we're going to fix that. We're going to sand it off, make it all nice and smooth again. We're going to put it all back together and we're going to be good to go. Hopefully, fingers crossed, 4 more races. If I do all this and I don't see any problems with any of this, we're going to hope like heck that I can put all this back together and it was just a fluke and the car will hold and make it 4 more races. If I take all this apart, don't find anything, we're still going to go to the racetrack and we're going to, like I said, hope it works, because that tells me that it's internal to the transmission and there's nothing I can do about it except getting it rebuilt, which I will be testing it quite a bit. We have 2 weeks till race day. This is Sunday, a week and a half well, almost 2 weeks from yesterday. So we're going to tear into it just in case I don't need any parts. If I need parts, that gives me a week to get it all put back together, and a week after that we go racing, as long as I can fix it. That's where we're at. I will probably give updates as far as what the plunger and everything looks like once I get all that out. So stay tuned, and we will be back in a minute. Alright, I know this is not the best picture, but we got the solenoid right there. We got the ground right here, and the ground looks pretty dirty, and then this doesn't look like it's the best. So we're going to check the voltage real quick, and then we're going to clean all this up and see what we got. But I would probably venture to say this is what our issue is, but we're going to check it out. We'll be back. Alright, so this is what we got. So I checked between that connection there and the ground location on the bottom side of this nut. Activated the trans brake button, and I only cut 6.5 volts. That is supposed to be 12. So we're going to fix this crimp, clean this joint up, take this out and put a new connector there, and then we're going to recheck it and see what we have and go from there. But this is telling me that this is probably my first issue. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I cleaned this up, redid this, cleaned that up. Still wasn't getting over 6.5, 6.6 volts, so that led me down a rabbit hole to rewire some stuff inside, and then come to find out I'm only getting 8 volts out of my, well, 8.2 out of my MSD box. So it says it's supposed to be sending 12 volts to the trans brake, but I'm only getting 8 volts out. I've checked all my grounds, I've checked everything, and I don't know why. So there's nothing else I can really do with it. So we're going to try to pull the trans brake out itself and see what I see, and go from there. So once I figure out how to get to the trans brake, which is right there, sandwiched in between all this stuff. Once I figure that out, I will be back. Alright, as you can tell, we got the trans brake off. We got the plunger and the spring out. I wiped everything out, and I do not see anything wrong with any of this stuff. We're still letting the transmission drain a little bit, and then I'll pull that out and check that out and see what it looks like. But I don't see anything wrong with this. The plunger comes out, you know, what it's supposed to, or the trans brake comes out what it's supposed to. Plunger, spring, not a scratch on them, so that's not what the issue is at all. So I'm hoping for some good news here somewhere. But yeah, so we're gonna put all this back together and refill the transmission up with some fluid and go from there, I guess. So I'll be back in a little bit. And just so everybody sees, here is the transmission fluid that came out. There's a few little bits here and there, but I think that came off the outside of the trans brake. Other than that, it looks very clean. So, but we're going to put some fresh fluid back in it after we tighten up the trans brake, and hopefully this fixes it for at least for a little bit. Alright, so this is what we came up with. So I put the trans brake back on, hooked everything back up. Yeah, with the drain fluid. I put a quart of fluid in the transmission, checked for leaks, no leaks. Then what I did is I did a 1-for-1 replacement. I dumped the trans fluid that I took out back in a new bottle just so I could see how much I actually drained. And I drained exactly 1 quart of fluid out of the transmission. Well, everything I've told me, you know, said I'd drain anywhere between 1 and 2. Well, so fired the car up, checked transmission fluid. I was about half a quart-ish low. So I put another half a quart in it, and it's reading almost full. So we're just going to let everything set for a little while make sure I definitely don't have any leaks that I have to fix. Check the trans brake, make sure it works, just to run it through a couple cycles. But everything kind of seems like it was pointing to it might just have been low on fluid by about half a quart, because I mean, I guess it has been a while since I checked it, but I thought I kept pretty good eye on it, but I guess not. I doubt a half a quart would really cause a problem, but that's everything I've tested other than the low voltage, which I can't figure out. It should be 12. It's only, I've got it up to 8.5 instead of the 6 something it was. So I still have to do a little bit of troubleshooting on that and go from there. So I'm done for the day. I'm exhausted. So we'll come back probably in a few days, see what we got, make sure, you know, the transmission's completely topped off, so it's happy, run it through its paces one more time just to see, make sure everything works, and maybe call this checked off is good. Like I said, I won't know until I actually get to the track and I do some racing and it actually holds. But I didn't find anything really wrong with it either. So that's where we're at. So I'll be back in a little while and keep you updated on what we find, if we find anything else. So be back after a while. All right, so here we are a week later. It's been, or Sunday. Done a bunch of research, done a bunch of thinking about this, and I think my problem is definitely the ground, because of the way it's grounded right now. Why it's been working and all of a sudden give me fits, who knows? Nobody knows. It's just one of those things. That's what happens. So since my power wire comes from my power board and the sensor wire comes from the MSD box, why not just run one more wire from my board to the trans brake and delete everything else in between, making this so complicated? So that's what we're going to do today. So we've got some wire, some connectors. We're going to cut the wire, the ground wire, off of where we have it now, and we're just going to run one straight from the board all the way to the trans brake, probably the way it should have been wired in the first place, but who knows? It's worked for however long this car has been running, but today, or last week, whatever, last race, it's decided to give us fits. So this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. So we're going to run the wire and check voltage. That should eliminate all concerns and my voltage problem. Have 12 volts straight to the trans brake, and we should be good to go. We will find out Saturday in a week from now, 7 days from now, when we go to the race. But that's where we're at. That's what we're going to do. I'll get into it and we'll be back. All right, so we are back from rewiring the car. Well, putting a new ground wire on. So we ran a new ground wire. Everything checks out good. So I'm assuming that was what the issue was. It was just, you know, running through everything else wasn't a good ground. So we're back on top. Let's hope. I mean, it's working. It seems to be holding the rear end transmission when it's running. So we're assuming it's fixed. We will find out in 7 days when we go to race day. So here's to hoping we can make it 4 more races before we got to do anything major. That's the goal. So with that being said, this video is wrapped up. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, like the content, hit that thumbs up. Share it with your friends and family. Helps me out a ton. Appreciate it. So we will see you at the next video and at the race. So thanks for watching, everybody.